because it is super powerful, right? Super powerful, and um, it is something that you can't overlook as far as why you need to do this, right? Why do you need to do this? Number one is business credit is something you can operate with without having to look at your personal credit, right? Without having to impact your personal credit. This is one of the biggest points. Um, is that you can pretty much get all of that. You can pretty much get all of that, and be able to tap into this business credit at 0% interest. We're going to go through exactly like how you're going to do it. What's up, Miguel? You're going to go through exactly how you can do it, and what you need to tap into this. This is a very powerful thing that I believe you should take advantage of, because not only is it like I said, incredibly powerful. Let me make sure I'm up on here. Not only is it incredibly powerful, but it's very, very accessible, like to practically anybody, right? So once you get in there, then you can you can get access to this. I have done this for probably about 4 years or so in the entrepreneurial space, and over that time, between my wife and myself, we've obtained over $500,000 that we could use, right, in business credit, 0% interest towards pretty much whatever we want, towards mentorship, towards real estate, towards just other investment and help and things like that. So this is a very powerful tool that I want you to know exactly how to access. And I don't want you to miss out on the fact that you could, in the next 30 days, some of you watching here are sitting on the qualification or sitting on the profile to be able to access 100K, 150K, 120K, 80K towards your business. And I want to answer any questions that you have. Right, great minds, what's up? I want you to answer any questions, ask any questions that you have. I will answer it. And I've been going on here to make sure that you have the information that you need to be able to take advantage of this, right? Because this is something that is too powerful to overlook, right? So put your questions in the chat. I'm giving you the exact blueprint tonight, the exact blueprint that it's going to take to get you access to 100K, 150K, 120K, right? I'm gonna make sure that you have exactly what you need. So let's jump into it, and as we go, I'll be answering any questions, and we'll go from there, right? What's going on, Pastor G? All right. So first, it's really just two things that we need to look at, right, for this business funding. And the reason this is so powerful is that this is it's a blueprint that you just it's a formula. When you put in this part of the formula and that part of the formula, then you get access to it. Like just no questions asked, right? And as long as you combine that with the right strategy, working with the right people, then you can do it. And the reason that this again is so very powerful is because you can hey, what's going on? What's up, everybody? The reason this is so powerful is, again, you can get access to this without having time in business. Your business could be open literally tonight. Your business doesn't have to show revenue. A lot of people will say, okay, I don't have revenue in my business. How am I going to qualify for 50K or 100K, 150K? This is what I'm going to go through with you tonight. Once you have the blueprint, then you can do it, right? You don't have to have your like W-2s or tax returns or business plans and things like that. None of that stuff. And what that does is it just takes out all of the excuses, right? It takes out all the red tape, and then you can just jump straight into the funding. And this, again, this is the powerful point. So please put your question in the chat, right? Presley Pittman says, you're new to the stream. We're talking about how you can get access to 100K for your business, right? If you are doing business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're looking to get into investment, into real estate, this can be used for practically anything, right? How do you get access to that? This is the formula to be able to get direct access to that type of funding, right? And is this a line of credit, Battle Zone? Thanks, Battle Zone. What's up? Is this a line of credit? It can be, right? So our team helps with all of the above. The strategy that I'm going to talk about tonight is strictly the 0% interest credit stacking strategy, right? So our team can help with that. We can help with lines of credit. right? We can help with term loans, with equipment financing. We can help with SBA loans, with auto loans, for business, like pretty much everything across the board, even personal funding. We can help with all that. However, I want to explain, the power of this 0% funding, because you can get into it without having to have a lot of the red tape, right? You can get it without bank statements. You can get it without having a bunch of time in business. You can get it without having, having to show proof of revenue, without having to show tax returns, like all these other things. And when you take all those things out, right, you take all those things out, and that means literally in the next 30 days, right, as long as you're sitting on this profile that I'm about to share, the exact blueprint for what the profile is, you could be, in the next 30 days, you could be sitting on that amount. Teddy Grams, thanks for the gift or badge. Appreciate that. So let's go through it, right? So I want you to ask your questions. Put your questions in the chat. Dance Queen, what's up? Put your questions in the chat. I am here on a Sunday evening. Let me know where you guys are tapped in from. I'm in Maryland, so it's starting to get late, but this is where I am wanting to make sure that you get the information that you need to be able to push this forward, because it is so powerful. Like I said, I've leveraged this for myself, for my wife, and we've leveraged this same strategy to gain over 500,000 in business credit that we've been able to use for all sorts of stuff, right? So please share this with somebody. Hit the like button, and thank you guys for the gifts. Teddy Graham said good game. Let's run into it, right? Again, it's so powerful once you know it. And you guys let me know. So Presley said, coming in from Montana. All right, what time is it in Montana? Is that central? Let me know, Presley. All right, so let's jump into it, right? So again, once you have this, like I said, share this with somebody. Get a pen and write this down, right? Because this is the exact blueprint that you need to be able to say, when I have this together and this, and I put these two together, then I can have direct access to 100K, 150K, 120K in the next 30 days, right? And I'm going to show you exactly what that means to be able to get into it. So Battlezone is this credit base, and you're from GA. All right, okay. Georgia in the house. Is that ATL or somewhere else? Let me know. All right, so it's credit base. Yeah, so we're leveraging our personal credit profile. These are the two pillars, right? And I want you to write this down. And even if this is not you right now, and Teddy Grams, thanks for the follow. Even if this is not you right this second, Dance Queen, thanks for the gift. Appreciate you. Even if this is you not right this second, I'm going to show you how you can leverage this to your benefit right now, right? So we're looking at the credit profile. So this is a personal credit that was getting us in the door with the banks and allowing us the maximum possible limits, right? And we're using this credit card stacking strategy to be able to get access to this. Again, if you're in business and you've had a business for a couple of years, or you got $10,000 to $15,000 a month revenue plus, or you've got assets or real estate and different things like that, it's a different conversation of what we can help you with. Again, we can help with pretty much anything across the board. And if you do want that help, the main thing I want you to say, okay, Presley, tap in with me. Okay, tap in. All right, tap in later. And make sure you get this information so you can push things forward in your life, right? But the main thing I want you to do is to make sure you go to fundingmyfuture.net and book a call with the team, a free consultation call, so you can take a look at your next step, and whether that next step is with your credit or the next step is with your business, or like the LLC structure or anything like that, right? Detroit, what's up? So let's jump into this, right? So the personal credit profile, right, and the business entity structure. It's so simple when you know these things and you realize, like, dang, it's really that simple. If I just have those two things, then I'm good to go, right? It's really that simple. So let's go into it. And I want you to ask any questions that you have in the chat, right? Put your questions in the chat. Presley, thanks for the sub, right? Yeah, like I said, let's tap in. You can text me at 240-240-642. All right, I'm gonna put that in the chat too. 240-240-642. All right, you can text that to me, and we can we can stay tapped in, right? Like I said, I can send you the direct link to get it on a call with the team. That's the fastest and best thing I can tell you to do, right? Now let's jump into the exact thing, and I want you to ask your questions as we go. Anything that comes up, because if you feel like there's something that's like, oh, I can't qualify for this, or like, what about this situation, or Like, what myth have you heard about, like, does this work with this type of, like, what type of business credit are we talking about? Let me know, because there's so many things that this doesn't mean. There's so many layers of red tape that this doesn't work with. Battlezone, you say you're an MCA broker. Okay, got you. Yep. So MCA is one of the things that we can connect with, but this is a different ball game than MCA. For those that don't know, we're talking about merchant cash advance. This is useful for businesses that need cash, but it can be kind of expensive for people, right? So it has to be the right situation. So again, this is what we're talking about, to giving people alternate options, and this is one of the most powerful options to be able to stack this 0% interest business credit for 12 to 18 months without having to submit any tax returns, any other documents, proof of funding, all that stuff, right? So let's jump into it. And again, please put your questions in the chat if you have anything to clear up. Here we go. So number one, your personal credit profile. It's not just your score that matters, right? We talk a lot about credit scores, and hey, you need to have a 680 or a 700, 720. The score is cool, but you can have a good score without having a good profile. And this is where a lot of people get tripped up, is they say, hey, I got a 750 score. And then they go and apply for certain funding, and they're getting denied, right? Because they don't understand what I'm about to break down to you tonight. They don't understand the nuances of exactly what you need to be able to push forward. And again, I have paid a good amount of money for this information, and I want you to have access to it, so you can push your life forward. I believe in abundance, and I don't feel the need to gatekeep. I want you to have the information, so you can make things better in your life and your business and your freedom, and push up. And for those that are destined, or that are a good fit to work with us and work with me, then I believe those things will happen. And anything else, if you decide to just take the info and run with it, then hey, as long as you improved yourself, then it's all good, right? So Jesse Knows Funny, thanks for the gifted badge, appreciate you. All right, so here we go. So number one, so what are the things you need in this personal credit profile, right? And then we're going to loop back around to talk about why business credit is so important, compared to some of these other things, and especially this 0% stacking strategy, right? So what up, Dre? All right, so here we go. So number one, your personal credit profile. Like I said, the score is not just the thing that matters. You need your profile to be up to par, up to a certain place that the banks are going to want to lend money to you, right? So number one, your credit card limits, right? So you need to have at least $10,000 to $15,000 in your credit card limits overall. If you add up all your cards, this is what you have, right? Yeah, appreciate you, Dre. So if you have that, right, this is one of the biggest ones. If you have at least $10,000 to $15,000 in your credit card limits, I want you to put check in the chat, right? If you do not have that yet, I want you to put cards in the chat, right? Because it's really important to know, because if you have it, this is one of the biggest ones, right? This is one of the biggest ones to get you started. If you don't have it, then you need to just get started building right now, right? And there's two ways, and I'm just going to jump to this. I'm going to jump to this, right? So we got a few people saying check, got a few people saying cards, right? So if that's not you, right, I don't want you to worry, because I have something for you to be able to take advantage of this info right now, right? To your benefit, to be able to push forward while you build up and work on adding these things to your profile and making sure things are set up properly, right? Because once you get it, then the sky's the limit, right? The amount of funding you can get is literally like almost unlimited, especially if you approach the strategy in the right way. But once you have these two things, all right. So here we go. So we talked about the cards, the number of cards that you have. Now in that $10,000 to $15,000, this is the minimum, right, of your credit card limits. Ideally, you would have at least two cards that are $3,000 or more, right? So do you have at least two cards of 3,000 or more, right? Ideally, you got some 5,000, 10,000. The higher, the better. And the reason is the banks are going to give your approvals based on what you have on the personal side, right? So for the business credit, they're going to approve you in business credit cards compared to what you have on the personal side. So if you've only got a $500 card and that's the highest card you have on the personal side, they're not going to give you a $25,000 business credit card. They're not going to give you a 40,000, a 50,000, a 20,000. All right. So we have to be able to get these high limit cards in our name right? To begin with. And if you need help with that, again, we're going to talk about like ways you can build that up. But let's keep going. So number 2, your utilization on your credit report needs to be below 30% at minimum, right? Ideally, it's below 10%. All right. So if you got your utilization solid, right, I want you to put, let's just say put a 2 in the chat, right? If your utilization is good, and if your utilization is above 30%, I want you to put utilization. All right. And this is important to keep track of because, like I said, I have pretty much for everything that you have going on, I have a solution or a hack or something that you can do to be able to get over that hump. All right. So Dan the Philosopher, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. All right. So that was number 2. So we got your utilization below 30%. Okay. So Dan solid so far. Here we go. Number 3. Do you have your inquiries on your report? Are your inquiries less than 3 per bureau? All right. And ideally, less than 3 definitely in the last 6 months, because anything older than 6 months for inquiries is going to have less impact on your funding decisions. Anything under 6 months is going to have more impact. Shawty B, thanks for the follow. Thank you. All right. So again, I hope you guys are taking notes on this. All right. This is like one of the most powerful things, because once you have this, you can have direct access to it, that 100K, 120K, 80K, 150K. All right. Here we go. If you've got that, I want you to put 3 in the chat. If your inquiries are 0 to 3 per bureau. All right. If you got more than 3 inquiries per bureau, then I want you to put inquiries in the chat. All right. SJC, thanks for the follow. All right. Here we go. So we got some people, got some 3s. All right, here we go. Angel Heaven, thanks for the follow. Okay, number 4 is we have at least 10 primary accounts reporting on your credit report. That means all your accounts across the board, not just credit cards. So mortgages, student loans, auto loans, store cards, credit cards, anything. When you look at your total on your report, you have at least 7 to 10. All right, if you've got at least 7 to 10 on your report, then I want you to put 4 in the chat. If you don't, I want you to put accounts. All right, and we're just keeping track of where we are all along this blueprint, because once you've got it, I got some 4s. I think some people got some check marks on this whole thing, and you might be literally sitting on 100K. Like I said, the best thing I can tell you to do is get on a call with the team, right? On a call with the team at fundingmyfuture.net. And again, put your questions in the chat if this is bringing up any questions for you. But you can also text me directly, and I will send you the direct link to get a free consultation call with the team. So you're going to look at your next step and say, okay, what's the exact thing that I need, right? What's the exact thing? All right, so here we go. So next is your age. Your average age on your credit report across the board needs to be 4 to 5 years or more. That's the sweet spot. If you've got 2 years or more, you can get in the door. And if you're under 2 years, then we need to do some things to tweak and work on it. All right, so here we go. So this is number 5. So if you've got an average age of, I would say, 2 years or more at minimum, I want you to put a 5 in the chat for your average age across all your accounts. If you don't have it, if you got under 2 years of your average age, I want you to put age in the chat. All right, here we go. Some people, I think we got some people sitting on some money that they could be accessing. All right, I'm seeing a lot of 5s. Here we go. Here's the last one. Here's number 6. Do you have no late payments, no collections, no charge-offs, and no bankruptcies? So it means no derogatories at all, right? Now, here's the caveat with late payments is if you have late payments over 2 years old, we can squeeze in the door. So I will say no late payments in the last 2 years, and then no collections, no charge-offs, no bankruptcy. Clean. All right. If that's you, I want you to put a 6 in the chat. I want you to put a 6 in the chat. If that's not you, I want you to put derogatory in the chat. All right. So here we are. So that I think there's some people, and let me know if you got check marks on all of those, all those things that I said, your number, your limits, right, being at least 10 to 15,000 overall on all your credit cards. All right. And you've got maybe two credit cards at least with a $3,000 or higher limit out of that. Your utilization is below 30%. Right? You have 2 to 5 inquiries. I would say 3 inquiries max per bureau. You've got Cassette DeMille. Is that how you say it? Thanks for the share. You guys share this with somebody, please. All right. This is such powerful information, and somebody could stumble across this and change their life. Right. Thank you so much, Cassette. So yeah, and thanks for the follow too. All right. So we said your credit card limits, your utilization under 30%, your increase is 0 to 3, especially in the last 6 months. Your primary accounts is 10 or more, 7 to 10 accounts or more. Right? Your average age on your report is over 2 years, I would say at minimum. Right? And you have no late payments, no collections, no charge-offs, no bankruptcy, or at least no late payments in the last 2 years. So that means if your late payment was from November of 2023 or earlier, then we can squeeze in the door. If that is you, I want you to put ready in the chat. I want you to put ready in the chat. SJC says, can we talk about the utilization part? Put ready in the chat if that is you. Lisa K is ready to go. She said, I got it. So Lisa, so again, I would suggest that you book a call with a team, right? Or you link with me and talk about it further. But you are sitting on 100,000 in the next 30 days. I would say one of my recent clients, from the time that she booked a call with the team to the time that she had 95,000 that she was able to use for her real estate business, 22 days. 22 days. All right. So SJC, we're going to talk about utilization. And Dan the Philosopher says, I check all the boxes except the limits. So Dan the Philosopher, let me know how close are we? What are your overall limits? Right. And Lisa K, you can go to fundingmyfuture.net or you can hit the link in my bio to get a consultation. It just takes like 60 seconds to fill out the little form that's on the page and then get a call booked, right, with your next steps. Or you can text me at 240-240-642, and I will send you the direct link. Right. So we'll talk about utilization, SJC. And you said I check all the boxes except the limits. So Dan the Philosopher, let me know where what are all your limits total, right? How close are we? All right. So there's a few things you're going to do to be able to start working on it now. But let me just go through before I talk about utilization, because if you don't have one of those, then again, there's a few things you can do to be able to navigate this. And some of you might be just a few moves away to being where you need to be, right? Or we're going to leverage some of these other approaches to be able to take advantage of this right now, even if we're not in the right place. Okay. So let me know. So which part are you guys missing? Let me know which part you're missing. If you did not put ready in the chat, which part are you missing? All right. Teddy Graham says, how can you add primaries fast? Right. It's a very good question. It's a very good question. And there are certain primary accounts that you can get, but if you're talking about primaries, like you're at least 10 primary accounts on your profile, right? If you don't have enough of those, if that was the one that you're missing, then that's one question. The other question is, do we need primary credit cards? Like I said, you need at least 10 to 15,000 in your credit card limits, right? So those are two different questions. All right. So Teddy Grahams, the second one is more difficult than the first. All right. So the first one, at least 10 primary accounts on your credit file. And we'll talk about all this in just a second. But there are accounts that you can add, especially if you're starting from scratch. Things you can add to at least get those accounts on your file. There's some of those that you can backdate, right? There's like some rental programs that you can basically report that you've been renting for a certain amount of time, and that time can get added to your credit report. The amount you've been paying can get added to your credit report, and you can backdate those so you get age at the same time for 2 to up to 8 years. I've heard in some cases, depending on the platform. Some of those platforms, Credit Sesame, Rent Reporters, Rental Karma. There's a couple of these. Boom, I think. There's a couple of those that you can use, and that would be let's say you did all of them. So that would be like 4 accounts you can do all at once. All right. So if you want to go through if you want me to go through more of that, I can give that to you. The other quick answer before we loop around to these other questions. Again, you guys put your questions in the chat. Like I said, I paid some solid money. So solid money for these this information. And I want you to take advantage of this tonight while I am sharing. All right, please take advantage of this. All right, so here we go. So we'll loop around to this. The other thing that you can do, if you're asking about adding primary credit cards, right, or primary accounts like that are going to be in your name, that is in a area that is a little too gray for me, and it's a little too unsuccessful when it comes to the people that will promise, hey, I can get you a primary account in your name, right? That's backdated however much, and it's a credit card or it's this or that. So yeah, so it's not stable enough for me to say, hey, this is something legit that you can do, which is why I say we're going to do this other approach, right, at the same time. Now, if you're really interested in that, you can DM me and I can give you the person that I think that works. However, it's not something that I personally would do because of these other options, right? So here's the other options. Let's say your credit was not in the place that it needed to be according to that fire blueprint that I just told you. It's literally those, when you have those things in that credit profile, you're literally ready to go, right? We'll talk about the LLC structure and the ways that can help and how you can take advantage of all that. And I see Lisa K has jumped in. Congrats, Lisa, for claiming one of your free consultation call. All right, smart move. So and the pithy one, I'm gonna get to your question in a second. But yeah, so these are the other ways that you can leverage this, right? So number one is I just told you the exact profile that someone would need to be able to access 100K, 120K, 150K, 80K, 50K, whatever it is, right? In the first round, all right? And this is like in the next 30 days, right? So the reason that this is different, and great uncle, thanks for the share. Oh, with more than 10 people. Appreciate you. Like I said, this this is powerful information, you guys. So please share this. Hit the like button. If you're getting value from this, share a gift. It just tells the algorithm that this is good information, right? So so here we go. Here's what you can do. If it's not your credit right now, I would say, even though I'm going to tell you to start working on your credit now, no matter how long it takes, it's worth it, because when you get on the other side of it, everything is just better in life. Right? You're paying less interest for everything, right? Your life costs less. You get access to more stuff, right? It's better. Now, once you do that, and then we get access to business credit, when we use the business credit for our business, instead of using our personal credit does not get impacted. This is a critical point, right? So if I've got $25,000 card on the business credit side and I use up 25,000 of it, guess what happens to my personal credit? Absolutely nothing. How do I know? Because like I already told you that I got 500,000 between myself and my wife. We leverage a dual LLC strategy that I can share with you if you want. But and I've got balances on some of those cards because some of my investments and things, some of the things have gone well, in the past 4 years that I've been in this entrepreneurial space. Some things have gone not so well. You know what I mean? So I've got some balances and things that I have to deal with. And my personal credit is literally at 850, 847, 843 the last time I checked. All right. So it's proof that you can operate in that business side with these business credit cards at 0% interest and still have a protected personal credit, which opens up so many doors, right? So I say work on your personal credit now. Build it up now. Do the work. The time is going to go by. So don't be concerned about how long it's going to take. You can do it. I would say the worst case scenario, you can do it in a year, right? And that means anything below that, you can also do. So you could be 6 months away, you could be 3 months away, 90 days, you could be 30 days away, you could be 20 days away. And we're going to talk about these different plays you can do with utilization depending on where you are, right? Alan J, thanks for the follow. Depending on where you are, right? You could be just a few moves away, right? But again, I'm just encouraging you, if personal credit, if you didn't hit those bullet points that we talked about. David Emmy, thanks for the follow, right? If you didn't hit those bullet points that I'm talking about, I want you to start building today, because the time is going to go by And if you start today, you're going to be thanking yourself that you just made the move to get started. Right. Because if you don't have the credit cards, like I said, $10,000 to $15,000 in your credit limits, then you need to be searching to build up your personal profile now with some of those things like I um share with somebody tonight about what Teddy Graham's about. Okay, these are some things that you can add to your report. If you have nothing on your report, and we can start to add these things, and there's some ways that you can kind of boost it at the same time. Like some things can be backdated, and there's pledge loans and secured cards, and these other programs that you can use to be able to get some good things on your report. And then you're going to go and apply for your personal credit card that can give you a high limit on the personal side, right? And there are certain credit unions and banks that we want to leverage to be able to get the best foot possible, because they're known for giving out higher limits. So like Navy Federal, for example, is one of them, where it's not far-fetched. Once you have a certain relationship with them and your profile is up to a certain place, it's not far-fetched to get to get 100 sorry 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 on a personal credit card, right? All right, so David, so you say you jumped on late. Hey, I got you. I'm gonna jump back over it. Okay, I'm gonna jump back into it. Again, this is a great time to share this with somebody, you guys. It's a literal blueprint. Like I said, I've used it myself. That's the only reason I'm on here. I'm on here late. I'm already probably should be in bed, but I want to share this information with you guys tonight. Right. I really do. So I will come back to it. GT Empress, thanks for the follow. All right, Teddy Grams, thanks for sharing. All right, and you guys, again, put your questions in the chat. Like I said, I pay good money, you guys. I paid money as a client when I was first starting, and I work with different companies. I understand the lay of the land, and again, like I said, I told you how much I was able to obtain, over $500,000 when it was all said and done over the course of about 2 years. All right, but then I started figuring out, okay, how can I help people with this? Because this is too powerful. So then I started studying under certain mentees and things like that, and working with different groups. And so now I understand on a different level. But again, all of it costs money, right? And like I said, I want to be able to share this with you. All right, so here we go. Just for David Emmy. All right, here we go. Write this down, you guys. Write this down. Even if you're just starting your LLC, even if you're just starting, you can get access to this 30 days if you have this profile, right? And let me finish what I was saying before real quick, right? So I encourage you to, hey, work on your personal credit. The time is going to go by. Tell me I'm lying that I didn't blink and it was January of 2025 and now we're in December. Somebody else tell me if I'm lying about that. Maybe it's just me because I got, kids and life happening. Maybe it was just me. Right? That time is going to go by again this year, and we're going to be looking, it's going to be December of 2026. And you could have been starting with no credit, and you could build up again. If you tap in with the team, then we can help you to know, okay, this is the exact way to build up if you're starting from scratch, right? But either way you go about it, if you build up, you say a year from now, I did what I needed to do, got the personal credit straight, and now I'm ready to access 120K, 150K without having to produce any other documents or anything like that. That's well worth it, right? So start. Now, with all that said, while you're building up, you can start now, or you can access it now by leveraging what's called a credit partner. Yes, GT Empress. Yes, 1000%. Right. If you got a 750 personal credit score, you can probably do it, but you got to be in these bullet points that I'm about to share. I'm about to share them right now. Right. The bullet points that are on the personal credit profile, because the profile is more important than the score. Okay. But you can leverage what's called a credit partner. What is a credit partner? This is somebody else that has that credit profile. Right. They have the credit profile right now, and they're sitting on it, and you can partner with them. You can partner with them and be able to access that 100K, 150K, 80K still right now. Because how does that happen? Is we either can get them their own LLC if they don't have one, or we add them to your operating agreement on your LLC and now we have the bank look at their profile to be able to determine the funding, right? So that's a powerful thing. We say, okay, I'm just going to get outside of the box, get outside of my own head, right? And work with somebody, and this could be a family member. For somebody on our call recently, it was a fiance. You know, I said, I don't have this profile, but my fiance has all that stuff you just said, Kyle. So hey, let's run it up with them, right? And this could be somebody in a mentorship group. This could be, you know, anything. All right. So all right, so we're gonna loop back around to this, and let's talk it through. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna zip through these personal credit profile bullet points. Right, get a pen, write this down, share this real quick so that somebody can jump in on this. Here we go. Your credit card limits need to be. Do you have 10 to 15,000 in your credit card limits at least? Right, add up all your credit cards. Do you have your utilization is under 30%? Ideally, it's under 10%, but at least under 30%. Do you have a 0 to 3 increase per bureau, right? And ideally in the last 6 months, that you have as few as possible in the last 6 months. Do you have at least 7 to 10 primary accounts on your credit file? That means accounts in your name on your credit report. And do you have your average age is above 2 years? Ideally, it's above 4 to 5 years, but at least 2 years or more of your average age of all your credit. And then do you have no negatives, which means no late payments in the last 2 years, no collections, no charge-offs, and no bankruptcy? There you go. If you got that, Buy America, thanks for the follow. If you got that, you are literally 30 days away, 22 days away, based on my last client, 40 days away, whatever it is. You're very close to having 100K, 120K, 150K at 0% interest. And again, this is at no, you don't have to submit tax returns. You don't have to be in business forever, right? So Magic says yes to all but the negative items, so we can take care of that. So your next step, Magic, that means that you might be, a lot of our clients that need help with negatives are seeing results in the first 90 days. So Magic, you could be 90 days away potentially, right? No guarantees in credit repair. If you don't know, because the government and, you know, things change and stuff like that. However, a good chunk of our clients are seeing results in 90 days. So Magic, you could be 90 days away from being fully ready to leverage 100K, 120K, 150K. Totally possible. And Magic, while you wait, like I said, start with the team now. Go to fundingmyfuture.net. Christopher Jackson, thanks for the follow. Go to fundingmyfuture.net, right? And hit the little link, or hit the link in my bio, or you can text me at 240-240-642. And you can just, I'll text you the link directly, right? That's the thing I would say, Magic, is have them look at your file, and then you can say, okay, these are the exact things we need to take care of, and let's just get the ball rolling on it. Because once you do that, we're also looking at your profile to say, is there anything else that needs to be added to your profile to make it as juicy as possible for the banks to want to lend you money, right? And once you're there, then we're all good. All right. So I gotta honor some of these comments. I appreciate you guys. Put your questions in the chat. Put your comments in the chat. So SJC, all right, coming back to you. Did not forget about you. Can we talk about utilization, right? So your utilization, I just said, needs to be under 30%. Now this is across, write this part down, please. This is across the board, like your total utilization, which is your balance of your cards versus your limits, right? And if you look on your credit monitoring, it should tell you what your utilization is overall. This is also on each individual card. Your utilization needs to be under 30%, or ideally under 10%. So even if you got a $100 card and you're using up $99 of it, it's like, that's not that much money, but that utilization can matter, right? Depending on the bank. All right. Now, what do you do if your utilization is a problem? Anybody that has utilization over 30%, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. If you got a utilization over 30%, put a 1 in the chat. Right. And you guys, thanks for the likes. Keep hitting the like button if this is getting any value for you. Share this with somebody. Again, send a gift, whatever you got to do. We're going to let the algorithm know, because we want people to be able to level their lives up. We don't want to keep this information. There's no gatekeep tonight. So we want to get as many people tapped in as possible, because again, this could literally change the trajectory of someone's life. That could be yours, because it's a whole different ballgame to say I got 100K to be able to use for my business. I can hire a virtual assistant. I can, it's so much power. There's so much power, right? Yep, James Estrada, thanks for the follow. All right, so here we go. So we're talking about the utilization, right? SJC. So again, I wanted you to put and you can just put utilization in the chat if that's your issue. If that's the only issue, then you are literally 1 or 2 steps away. And I'm about to share the hack for you. Okay, so please write this down. All right, I'm about to share the hack. Here we go. So if your utilization is above 30%, probably because you've been doing business, using your personal credit, or life has been lifing, and or you just didn't know any better, and you got higher balances on your personal credit cards, right? Here's what you can do. Now you need to understand this about your credit profile. This is like a basic financial literacy piece, but your credit score is based on your revolving credit cards, your credit card balances, right? That utilization score. So any balances you have on your credit cards, that determines that chunk of your score. It's like up to 30% of your score, which is like 150 to 180 points, is based on how much utilization you have. Here's what it's not based on. Write this down. What it's not based on is any installment products. What are installment products? That's like loans, like personal loans, right? Debt consolidation, sometimes HELOCs in some cases. So what you can do, and this is what we do a lot, every day for our clients, is you can take, let's just say you had $20,000 of credit card balances, right? And you're using up most of your utilization. We can get access to a loan, a personal loan for $20,000, right? You take that personal loan and then you pay off the credit cards, pay them down to 0. Now, here's the crazy part, right? So we paid off the credit cards. We don't have, the debt didn't change. I didn't come out of pocket any. I didn't change my budget. I didn't do anything else. The debt is literally just moved from the credit cards over to the personal loan. Now, guess what happens immediately? So your credit score shoots up through the roof, right? Because your balances on your credit cards went down. And that score, like I just said, is based on your credit card balances. So your credit score shoots up. And now you got a personal loan for this $20,000, right? You still owe the $20,000. That didn't change, but your interest rate is going to be lower, even if you just stop there. But we have more to go. But your interest rate is going to be lower because interest rates on personal loans are typically lower than they are on credit cards. Now, but here's the real kicker. If that was the only thing holding you back from funding, right? Your credit score went up, right? The balances went down. You got the personal loan. Now we can get you funded 100K, 120K, 80K, 150K, right? Once we do that, and you have that at 0% interest for 12 to 18 months. So now we can effectively shift that personal loan balance of that 20,000 over to the business credit at 0%. That's crazy. So now we just went from 29% interest, 25% interest on the personal credit cards, right? Yeah, Lisa, we gotta wait for you to get a personal loan. Yes. When you tap in with the team, if that's what you need, especially if that's the only thing holding you back, we have ways for you to get it. Definitely. Yep. So again, I hope this didn't go over your heads, you guys. This utilization thing is crazy, which means, and these personal loans we can get in the next 24 to 48 hours, which means that this problem that feels like, okay, this is a thing that's dragging down my credit score, or, how am I going to pay down this amount in such and such a time? This could be 24 hours away. pay those down, and however long it takes for you for them to report to your personal credit cards, like when your statement dates are, and then you'll be ready for funding. Sade's Dulces, if that's you, listen, you need to be booking a call with the team. That's my suggestion, because we can walk you through that exact play. If that's the only thing holding you back, you are literally, I would say you're literally 30 days away from getting started. Probably less than that, but literally 30 days away from getting started to access 100K, 120K, 150K. Super powerful. Right? So let me know if that makes sense. Right? Lisa. So yeah, so the past 5 years, like the team that I'm connected with, 5 years straight been funding people. Like I said, I've been in the entrepreneurial space for the past 4 years, right? And I started business funding as a client first, and that's how we got the 500K. And then I realized this is crazy powerful. Then I started learning and started helping people with it, right? The past probably 3 years, all right? And every day, we're getting people access to this stuff. All right. And like I said, the team expands that even further every day. All right. So I hope this didn't go over your heads, you guys. That utilization hack is serious gold. All right. Because we just took that interest bearing amount and shifted it over. And then eventually we shifted over to the business credit at 0%. Now, here's the only question. Once you do that, okay, now we got 20,000 that's on these business credit cards at 0% interest, right? So that's the best place for it to be. Now the question is, what am I going to do to leverage this new money? Because now I got 80K left, I got a 90K left or whatever left on my business credit to be able to make new money. So what am I doing to make new money? So let me ask you in the chat. If I gave you 80,000 in cash right now, and your only job was to return to me 110,000 or 100,000 in 6 months, what would you do? Do you know what you do? Or you say, I'm not sure yet. What would you do? Would you be doing a flip in real estate? Would you be doing some drop shipping? Would you be doing like trucking? Or let me know what it is. Would you be doing online education, webinars, and school group? What would you do? If you have no idea what you would do, then you need to think about that, because this business credit is not designed for people that don't at least have an idea of how they're going to take advantage of it. Like I said, you do not have to have the business plan to qualify for this. However, it's smart to have a plan for what you're going to do. And then the next thing is, and this is again why it's super powerful, what mentor are you going to tap into to be able to increase your rate of success and decrease your rate of failure, right? What mentor are you going to tap into? Now, why do I say mentor? Because it's one of the most fast track ways you can move forward. But also, once you get access to the funding, then you have the money to be able to pay the mentor whatever their fee is for the highest tier level that they have. And in my experience, on average, you can access anybody in the world, the highest, performing person in said arena, between $5,000 and $50,000, right? Anybody in the world. So on average, I would say 10 to 20,000 on average. Now that might sound like a lot to some people, but when you got 100K that you can use, and you're going to say, I'm going to dig all myself into it and strategically, like go into this. I'm going all in, and I want this person's phone number. I'm in their pocket. I want your contacts. I want your strategies. I want the tools. I want what AI are you using? Let me know everything so I can succeed. If you have that person, then you are solid, right? And it opens up the door because now I have money to pay them. Very powerful. All right. So like I said, I don't want you guys to miss it. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. Thank you. Please share this with somebody, you guys. Super powerful information. Please share it. All right. So I'm gonna come back to these questions, right? Like, as far as what do you know what you would do? And then we want to know, out of those bullet points that I shared for that personal credit profile, which one is holding you back? right? Is it the oh, and Lisa K, thanks for the gifts. Yes, and we do mentor, Lisa K. So here's the other thing, that if you're working with us, is that's kind of somewhat unique, I would say. Somewhat unique. Adrian, faith-based therapist. Thank you for the follow. All right. And G7 Michael Bryant, thanks for the share. Appreciate you. And somebody else will appreciate you when they tap in and realize how powerful this is, right? So Lisa, I was saying this is a little bit unique because a lot of companies will, do the service and it's just kind of one and done. This is definitely like a consultation type relationship that's long term. So the goal is to educate you along the way. As much as you have time and the interest to be educated, your goal is to be educated along the way so that you can start to do things for yourself, and you just kind of know what's going on, how to navigate things, partially how to use some of the things. It's like a consultation relationship. So the goal is for you to elevate and be improved and educated. And that's a little different because there's other people that, again, like you might get funded or you might get help with your credit, but it's just like that's where it ends. You know what I mean? If you're lucky and you get that result, right? So let's go back again. For those of you that are tapped in here, please let me know, what is it that is holding you back, right? Is it your credit limits, your credit cards and limits? Is it your utilization? Is it your inquiries? Is it your number of primary accounts? Is it your average age, or is it derogatories? Because we need to know what are your next steps based on what that is. All right. So we already talked about Dan the Philosopher. We already talked about the credit limits. Now, if you have some credit limits, like you say, you don't have 10 to 15,000, but what do you have? Do you have 5,000? Do you have 8,000? You have 2,000? And you can start to increase your credit limits, right? By doing credit limit increases. You call the bank, you ask them, hey, can you do a credit limit increase? And if you do, are you going to pull a hard inquiry on my report? If they say no, then you can go for a credit limit increase. On some banks, you can do it as little as 90 days. Other times it's 6 months. Sometimes it's a year. You just got to call your bank and ask them, right? Ask them what they do. A lot of times you can do maybe 20 to 40%, 20 to 50% of your current limit. You ask for that. If you do that, you can level up, right? That's going to take some time, but you can start to do it, right? And again, the other thing you can do is to just make sure that if you don't have a high limit card, you can just target some banks and credit unions that have high limit cards. Make sure your profile is the way that they want to see it. And then you apply for that card. Now you're starting with I got a $15,000 card. I got a $20,000 card, or I got a $10,000 card. You get a couple of those and let those season for a while. Like I said, while you wait, you're leveraging your credit partner, right? There's someone else that's sitting on this profile that I just shared with you. And now you guys together can collectively go and get access to these funds and push on forward, right? And there are people out there that have the credit and aren't using it, but they don't have the time, or they don't have the energy, or they don't have the drive that you have to be able to execute on business. You know what I mean? So that's a powerful thing you can do. Here's the other thing I didn't say that you can do, how you can leverage this information right now. I literally just told you the blueprint for what somebody would need to be able to access this amount of funding. So if you know that, and you can link people who have that profile, then you can be getting paid out as an affiliate, or like referral payments, like starting right now, regardless of where your credit is. If you just kind of start thinking in that way, and you can capitalize on it. So what does that look like? I just paid out a referral payment to somebody that sent somebody to me. It was $2,252 for one client. And it took her all of 3 minutes to come up with that person's name, to submit it. And she didn't lift another finger. That's the easiest money that she has made. All right. So you can do the math on how that would add up. If you did 1 a month, if you did 2 a month, if you went hard and did 5 a month or 10, that you can your whole life can change just off doing that. All right. So let's get down to some of these questions. You guys put your questions in the chat. Let's keep it rolling, and I'm just going to make sure that we get these questions answered. All right. So I'm going to scroll back again. Put your questions in the chat. You guys go to fundingmyfuture.net. and make sure that you um, make sure that you book a free consultation call with the team. Right, a free consultation. You're going to meet with one of the advisors. Either it's going to be a credit advisor if you need help with your credit, or there's anything in your credit file that needs a boost, or you're going to be meeting with somebody that's talking about the funding, maybe talking about what to tweak with your LLC to what's the fastest path to get you access to that funding. And again, I've been harping on this 0% stacking method because it is so powerful. However, we help with all funding across the board. So that is, do you need a SBA loan because you're trying to buy a business that costs $1 million? We can help you with that, right? Do you need a term loan or unsecured loan for the business? Or are you looking for a emergent cash advance? Or are you looking for equipment financing and a business line of credit? All those things we can help with, but it's a specific type of person. So you need to have a business that's been open for at least 2 years in a lot of cases. A lot of times you need to prove your business revenue. Sometimes business plans. But if you have all that stuff, or if you have real estate that you can leverage or different things, we can help with all that, right? However, I'm saying for everybody across the board, if you put this formula together, then you can access this 0% stacking method. And if you use it strategically, what's better than 0%? Right? Because you're leveraging the bank's money to be able to level up. And again, if you like that example that I gave you, if I gave you 80K in cash, how would you turn it into 100K? If you know that answer, how would you turn it into 110 to 160? If you know that answer, then you are solid. You should be jumping on this. All right. So coming back to the questions. All right. So the pithy one says, you've been in the same place for 20 years. What can you report? Let me know what you mean by that on the pithy one if you're still around. All right. Let me know. Yes, this is crazy information, you guys. Like I said, share this, right? So Wrenching Horizon says getting business funding has been a challenge for your business. Listen, it is a challenge when you don't know these nuances, and this is what we study all day. This is why we're able to help clients. So you can focus your time on your business and not having to learn these nuances. And guess what? The nuances change on a daily basis practically because the banks update things. The government changes something. It's a lot to keep. It's a lot to keep on top of, right? Which is why, again, I would suggest you book a call with the team. Go to fundingmyfuture.net, or you can text me or hit the link in my bio. Daphne, thanks for the follow. Yeah, I suggest you book a call with the team because it is kind of tricky to navigate it on your own, and it can be very costly to navigate it on your own. Just one quick case in point. Freye, is that you? Let me know how to say that. Thanks for the follow. One case in point is I had a friend that they were looking to buy a business, right? It's kind of a high stakes deal, and they were getting an SBA loan, which, hey, we'll go to the SBA, we'll navigate ourselves. They got information, you know what I mean? We can do it. And they started down that process, and they were in negotiation with the seller, right? And they had hey, seller, Lisa K, yes, no doc. It's not, I wouldn't say no doc loans, but this is no doc credit that we can access, right? That we can access at any time, right? So, all right. So, again, looking at this situation with my friend. So they're looking to buy a business, right? Let's say they're going to tackle the SBA on their own. Cool, fine. However, there were some nuances about the bank that they didn't expect, right? That they were working with because the SBA works with certain banks, and nuances about some of the process and things like that they didn't anticipate. So things kept getting pushed back. A week here, 2 weeks here, a month there. And guess what happened is the seller started getting antsy. And then now suddenly the price goes up, and now they have to pay their attorneys for more things and more back and forth. And by the time all was said and done, they had lost $1 million, literally $1 million from the delays and from the uncertainty in knowing how to navigate the SBA process and to be able to use that for their negotiation. $1 million. So imagine if they had just worked with somebody that knows how to navigate that process. Would that fee have been $1 million? No. Right. So this is a lot of times it's like, you could save money and energy, or sorry, you can save money or you can save time and energy and headache. And you got to realize sometimes it takes getting bit, in order to realize the value of that. Okay, so again, that's like I said, we can help with it across the board, but this 0% stacking strategy is like one of the most powerful that you can do. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna zoom through these comments, and if you're just tapping in, let me know if you need me to go through the profile again. Like, what do you need in your profile? Not just your score, but what do you need in your profile to be able to push this forward? All right, so let me make sure I didn't miss any. Make sure I didn't miss any comments. Put your comments, put your questions in the chat. All right. Yep. So GT Empress says you got a corp set up. Yep. You're solid. You're solid. Yeah, I definitely want to give this knowledge out to you guys on the free. Like I said, I believe that whatever's for me is for me. I believe in abundance. So if I give the information out, the people that want to tap in or want to work with me directly, it'd be that. And if you don't do that, then you got some great information that you can take action on. And I wish you the best. All right. All right. So here we go. So Lisa K earlier said that she tried to get business credit and they said they had too much new credit. All right. So that's the thing that you got to navigate, right? So the thing you got to navigate is sometimes they say too much credit overall, which sounds crazy, or too much new credit. So this is why you got to be mindful of what applications you do. So if you're thinking about business credit or getting funding and things like that and leveraging this strategy that I just told you about, you want to be very careful about what you apply for in the meantime right now. You don't want to just go applying for everything. All right. Both for the sake of your inquiries, but your new accounts also have impact on your credit. So you have to let these things season and things like that. So again, you want to get in contact with the team first, because wherever you are in your current situation, your next step is going to be kind of laid out. Right. This is something in our credit, or this is something with our funding, so we want to be mindful of that. Right. So here we go. Yep. So check out where you are according to that list that I shared. All right. We talked about the personal loans. All right, here we go. So David Emmy says, what about average 2 to 4 years? You said 2 to 4 years. Yeah, you can get in the door, David. You can get in the door. Like I said, the ideal is 4 to 5 years plus. If your average age is 2 to 4 years, you can still get in the door. Now, what does that mean? Get in the door versus the ideal. This is going to be a change cumulatively. This is going to be a change across the board when you put these different things together, and changing your approvals, right? Or your rate of denial and things like that. So these are real cases. Like all these bullet points that I'm telling you about, not all companies will go to all these steps. Some of them will do just the bare minimum to get you through as fast as possible, because they're trying to churn out as many people as possible, right? So I've seen, like in real time, I've seen this where somebody got an approval, from one bank for 9,000, and then for my client that I was working with, the same bank, same card, we got 50,000 on one card for her, and someone else got 9,000. So that can be an example of the difference, right? That's probably one of the bigger examples. But even if it's like a $3,000 approval, right, with American Express versus a $25,000 approval with American Express, I've seen it. Right. So these nuances, the more of these that you have, and it might take a little bit of time, right? But the more of these that you have, you can maximize your results. When you maximize the results, that's how we're able to stack to these high amounts fairly quickly. Right. And as other times, like you might be able to drag it out. Again, you kind of you can make your decision about, like I said, who you decide to work with. But sometimes you can drag it out. You can still get to 100K. Like somebody was saying, like, hey, I've been working with this company for a year. You know what I mean? They locked in with me. But at the end of that year, they had a little over 100K, which is dope. You know what I mean? You can do a lot with 100K, but we're saying we can get you 100K in the first 30 days, like 120, 130, 150 in the first 30 days. That's a different ball game as far as what you can access and leverage. All right. So Sade's Dulce says, I just need to pay down the credit card utilization, but you need stuff removed too. You're working on the business plan. Yep. So I hope hope you understand by now the importance of what we're talking about. Right. I already gave you the utilization hack where you don't necessarily have to pay it down in order to qualify and to shift that whole conversation. Right. And if you need things removed, just touch base with the team. All right. So what did you guys say as far as what you would do with the money? Amazon storefront, bakery, and spiritual work. Yep. As long as you can add value and be able to get a return from it, you're all good. Minnow says Forex trading. All right. Open an indoor facility. Yep. Use it to leverage to build more available credit. So Marcus GZ, you could use the 80K to build more available credit. You could. That could be a play that you do, right? But the question is, I need you to bring back 100,000, right? In 6 months or in a year or in 30 days. So you need to, how are you going to do that to be able to bring more? So you have more available credit. That's fine. But what are you going to use it to make, or how are you going to use it to make money? And really making money is really, how am I adding value to someone else, right? This is why business is cool when you approach it that way, is you're really solving people's problems and you're adding value. So the more problems that you solve, or the bigger problems that you solve, or the more value that you add, the more money that you get. That's a beautiful thing. All right. The money is the byproduct of solving problems. So what problem are you going to be solving for other people? Right. Somebody talked about event space, salon suites, and much more. Yep. You can use it for all that. Yep. Getting into trucking. You have 3 box trucks. We can do that. So we're going to talk very briefly about the LLC structure. Yep. G7 Michael Bryant, the LLC structure, because you want to go in to this thing with the right business structure. Because if you come in with a business like trucking that is high risk to the banks, then you can get denied, right? Or you can get a really low limit because some banks don't work with certain industries. So you have to know how to position yourself. If you guys want to, I'll go through that. Let me know. You'd have to know how to position yourself in your business entity to be able to be in the best possible position for the banks. All right. Let me know if you guys want to know more about that. All right, here we go. So, yeah, I'm just going through the questions. So Lisa K said, is there an upfront fee or 10% on the back end? Right. So a lot of people will charge an upfront fee for this type of service. It depends on the services you need. Right. This is different if you need help with your credit or credit repair, credit optimization, versus if you're all the way ready and you're ready for funding. All right. So in general, this is going to be a performance-based fee on the back end. Now the percentage is going to differ based on the amount and based on the product that you go after. However, in most all the cases, you can use your new funding to be able to pay the fee. This is the most powerful way to approach it, I believe, right? Because I'm literally leveraging the bank's money. I don't have to come up with money up front, or at least not a whole lot of money. Sometimes there's going to be a small deposit just to lock things in. That's refundable. If for some reason something happens, you can always get that refunded. But it's really a performance-based thing, because if we don't perform, then nobody gets paid, right? And that puts the incentive to say, okay, we're gonna get you what you need. All right. So I hope that answers that question. I don't know if Lisa K is still on, but I'm sure that's valuable for somebody else. All right. What are some of the banks with the high credit limits, David? Yep. So I already talked about I got a list I can give to you, David. So DM me, right? I got a list I can give to you. But like I said, Navy Federal is definitely one of those. There's certain credit unions, and you can actually look. You can look at a site. I'm gonna tell you this site. It's called iBankNet. iBankNet.com, I believe. HD Neil, thanks for the follow. When you look at iBankNet.com, right? When you look at iBankNet.com, you can see the banks and credit unions and have them listed according to the assets that they have. Basically, who has the most money. When you look at who has the most money, you'll probably see which banks or credit unions might be likely to give out higher limits because they have more money, so they have maybe more flexibility to do that with. right? And like I said, I will once I find my list, there's a few banks, and because I'm in these groups and things like that, these they pop up, right? So there's a few banks and credit unions that are known to give out higher limits, right? So if you target those first, and maybe combine one of the big normal banks, and get as high limit as you can. But again, when you start with higher limits, everything else is based off that, because the banks start to compete with each other, right? So, like I said, if you can do Navy Federal, and if you do it right, if you build up your profile right first, build up your relationship with them as much as possible first, and then when you go for that first credit card, it's a much higher chance you would get a high limit card as your beginning card, getting 10,000, 15,000, not far fetched, right? Adonis, thanks for the follow. Right. Again, you guys share this with somebody. Um, and thanks for the likes and for the gifts. This is powerful info, right? So let's go through. I'm going to see if there's any other questions that I miss, and we're gonna make sure you guys are tight work. All right. So, yep, you guys, please lock in with the team. Please lock in with the team. So, Christopher Jackson, I'm not sure if Christopher is still on, said, I want an SBA loan to buy absentee business and buy and flip real estate. Life goals. Yep. 100%. You can do all that. Now here's the SBA loan play I want to share with you guys, right? For anybody that's looking to buy a business, right? And I will repeat the stacking process, okay? Right. And as well as let me know if you need the profile setup info, right? Daphne, I got you guys. All right. But let's talk about this SBA real quick. So here's the power of this, you guys. So with the SBA loan, like I said, we can help you line up with that. But there's a lot of businesses being bought and sold right now because the baby boomers are aging, and there's a lot of those that own businesses. So now they're selling businesses to people. These businesses a lot of times are cash flowing already, cash flow like net $20,000, $15,000, $25,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month, right? Already cash flowing, and they're selling these businesses. Right now, let's say that the business costs $1 million. Business is $1 million. The SBA is going to cover 90% of that amount for you to take over the business. That means you need to come up with 10%. What's 10% of $1 million is $100,000. Now, where are you getting the $100,000 from to be able to take over this business? You can get your $100,000 from your 0% interest business credit stack. Sorry, my wife is texting me. I got to make sure. For those of you that don't know, haven't been on my lives, my baby girl is sleeping usually at this time. And I'm on borrowed time, right? So I share as much information as I can on borrowed time. Because if she wakes up like she just did, then the live is over because I got to go up. I got to go up and get her, right? So I got to keep my eye on my texts. But as long as she's down, then we're good to go. And as long as you guys are getting value, you can ask your questions. We're good to go, right? So here we go. SBA, right? That 100,000 can come. I just told you, if you have this personal credit profile that I just told you about, we can get you access to 120,000, 130, 150, 100, right? So that money that you're going to use as a down payment, if you need it in that way, we have ways also to liquidate the funds from credit into cash, right? And in a way that does not show up as a cash advance. So you're not paying high fees and high interest. It's on the 0% interest, but we can liquidate it directly in a compliant way, directly into cash. So now you can use that cash, that 100K, for your down payment for the business, right? And now guess what? A lot of these businesses, cash flowing 15,000 a month on day one, 20,000 a month, 25,000, 30,000 a month. So you do the math on that. Again, like my question that I told you, if I gave you this amount in cash, how would you get it back? If you use it in that way, that would be one example. Say, okay, if I'm cash flowing 20,000 a month net before I make any changes to the business or do anything, then hey, that would take me 4 to 6 months to recoup, and now I'm up. Pay all the cards off, rinse and repeat, or or just up. And guess what? There was no money out of your pocket from the beginning. It's crazy. You leverage the bank's money to be able to do that. And you only leverage your personal credit profile and this LLC structure that I'm about to get into. All right. So stacking process, Mino and Daphne, I told you I got you guys. All right. So what is the stacking process? All right. Again, this is different from business lines of credit. This is different from term loans and unsecured loans and auto loans and things like that. All right. That we can help you with. But this stacking method is really critical because here's what we're doing is we're applying for business credit cards from different banks. Right. And a lot of times those cards carry 0% interest periods for 12 to 18 months. All right. We're applying to multiple of those cards in a certain sequence and order. That's going to make sense. And we're leveraging our personal credit profile to get into the door and to get the maximum limits from that. All right. You guys share this with somebody, please. This is good sauce. We're getting the maximum limits from leveraging our personal profile. Now, how is our personal involved at all? In order to get into the door, they are pulling a hard inquiry on our personal credit report, right? But you can write this down. Any hard inquiry that is not tied to an open and active account on our personal credit report, technically we have the ability to remove those inquiries from our report. Now, none of the business credit cards that we go after report to your personal credit, which means that we get access to the card. They pull the hard inquiry on our report, which only has a slight impact on our report anyway. But we get access to that, and then we can go back and we can wipe off any inquiries that we just got. So what we're going to do is, we know, you can look this up too, but it just takes a while to aggregate the information. We know which banks pull from which bureaus. So if we go to Bank 1 and we know that they pull from Experian, right? Bank 2 and 3 pull from Experian, but we also know that we don't want more than 3 inquiries. I just told you that. We don't want more than 3 inquiries per bureau, right? So now we go to a different bank that pulls from Equifax. Now we go to 2 more banks that pull from Equifax. And at each of those banks, we got anywhere between $10,000 to $40,000, $50,000 in some cases. And all that stacks up because we got 10 from the first one. We got 20 from the second one. We got 25 from the third one, right? We got 15 from the fourth one. We got 40 from the fifth one. And now that stacks up. Now that's how we're at 100,000, 120,000, 150,000, right? In the first round. And then every 6 months, when those accounts season and we do whatever we need to do, we can rinse and repeat that almost like as many times as we need to. That's crazy power, you guys. This is the credit stacking process. So we got all those banks. We go to 5 banks, 6 banks, 9 banks, whatever it is. And then we can go back and wipe off all those inquiries, clean slate. And now we can go back and repeat the process and do it again if we need to. This is why this is so powerful. And while we are doing that, we can leverage the credit on the business side, and our personal credit that we just built or maybe we've had stays protected. We don't have to be using our personal funds and personal credit to do a real estate flip or, like I said, to buy a business or whatever the case. And in the meantime, if you are buying a business, ideally you would still have some sort of mentorship of people that know how to do it properly. So you can still use the business credit to be able to pay the person that knows the exact steps to buy the business properly. And we're still leveraging the bank's money, no money out of your pocket to be able to do all this. Super crazy. What's the profile setup? Daphne, Frey, I got you. Here we are. Write this down, please. Write this down. Again, share this with somebody. If you haven't shared it, this is a good time to share it because somebody could stumble across this and literally change their life just from not realizing that this was so accessible. Number 1, you have at least $10,000 to $15,000 in your personal credit limits. Add up all your cards. Is it more than $10,000 to $15,000? If you got that, that's one of the biggest ones. Right? And at least 2 credit cards with a $3,000 limit or higher within that range. Number 2, your utilization needs to be under 30% minimum. Ideally, it's under 10%. Number 3, your inquiries need to be 0 to 3 inquiries, 3 inquiries max per bureau, and ideally as few as possible in the last 6 months. Number 4, the number of total accounts, primary accounts in your name on your credit report, at least 7 to 10 accounts minimum. The more the merrier. If you got 15, you got 20, great. 27, great. Number 5, your average age of your credit needs to be 4 to 5 years or more is the sweet spot. Right? Diamond T, thanks for the follow. 4 to 5 years for the sweet spot, or over 2 years to get in the door for your average age of all your credit. If you're under 2 years, then we got some work to do. Right? Again, we can help with that, and there are some ways, some hacks, things we can do to navigate that. So don't fear, but you might be 1 or 2 moves away if your age is under 2 years. Now, the last one, number 6, is no derogatories, which means no late payments in the last 2 years, no collections, no charge-offs, no bankruptcy. If that is you and you say, oh, I got all those, check, I want you to put ready in the chat. If that is you, I want you to put ready in the chat. Right? And if that wasn't you, I want you to put the one that was holding you back. What is the one or 2 that is holding you back? Is it the credit card limits? Chocolate incentives, thanks for the follow. Get Money 83, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Was that the credit card limits? Was it the utilization? Was it the inquiries? Was it the total number of accounts? Was it the age, or was it the derogatories? Let me know. So chocolate incentives. So it's number 6, derogatories. So you still need to get on the call with the team, fundingmyfuture.net, or hit the link in my bio, or you can text me and I'll send you the direct link at 240-642. And they're going to be able to get you the fastest path and the most stable path to getting those things taken care of. If you got some negatives that need to be removed from your account, sometimes in some cases we might remove the account in question from your report. You know, whichever way is going to make sense, but the fastest path to be able to push you forward to get that straightened out. All right, you're going to meet with one of the credit advisors if your credit isn't all the way there. But if that's the only thing holding you back, again, a lot of our clients have been seeing results in the first 90 days. So you could be 90 days away, could be less than that, could be more than that, but however long it takes, when you're ready, the game changes when you're ready. All right, what is the thing that is holding you back? Which one of those was it? All right, let's go back. I think we're getting close to getting the questions. I hope that was helpful for you. Mino, if Daphne's still around, hope that was helpful for you. That's literally the blueprint. And like I said, if that's not you right now, and Chris Goodwin, thanks for the follow too. If that's not you right now, you need to be taking advantage of a credit partner that still could be you in the next 30 days. Because if you tapped in with the right person, they get funded either on their own LLC or on your operating agreement. And now you're up. Right? Or you could be making referrals right now. Not far-fetched to make 1,000 per client, 2,000 per client. Right? 2,500. Not far-fetched at all. If you want to know about that, I want you to put affiliate in the chat. If you're interested in that and feel like I either know people who are interested in funding, or I could do a little work just to find a few people that are interested and that potentially meet these requirements. And I wouldn't mind having $2,200 extra by Christmas. I want you to put affiliate in the chat, right? Or you can text me that as well at the number that I just shared. All right. So let me know if that recap is good for you guys. All right. What about the so let's get to more questions. All right. Lisa said, will you have a phone call with me? A phone call is going to be with one of the advisors. Phone call is going to be with one of the advisors. So it's either going to be a credit advisor if your credit needs help, or it's going to be a funding advisor if your funding needs help. Now, once you do that, if you want to talk with me for any reason or some strategy or anything like that, then you can reach out to me. Like I said, you can text me. But most of what you need, you're able to get what you need with the team. All right. But you're welcome to reach out to me if I can help you understand something or anything like that. Or again, like if there's any information I have that's useful to you. I do paid consultations, but for people on my live, if you text me, then we can potentially connect. Or if you want to pay for one of those slots, that's fine too. But I'm glad to help and share information as much as possible. All right. So Mino says, how would you do it if starting over? All right. So starting over, when you say starting over, like, are you saying from zero credit, like I got no credit? Or like if I was starting from my position, because I just happen to have good credit, right? I was just thanks to my dad. It was kind of like we didn't use credit that much, but because of that, I got an auto loan. I just paid everything on time, and I had an 800 score. Without really knowing it, and then I realized, oh, I'm sitting on this, and I can leverage this and that, and then that's when I started getting into it. But if I was starting from scratch, again, I would make sure I have a mentor. That's one of the most powerful things I would say. Make sure you have a mentor that can tell you the exact things you need to do, the exact things you don't need to do, so you can save time and not waste time. So whatever you got to do to do that, that's what I would do. So that's same with the credit, because like I said, we can help walk you through. Okay, what is the next step for you, and what's the most important step? To put the right things into your profile so you can get funded, to take the things out of your profile so you can get funded, to set your LLC up in the proper way. Right? That's the main thing. And that's the same thing I would do business wise, starting over. I don't know if you're asking that, Mino, but business wise, I would make sure I'm focused in, and that whatever I do, I'm locked in, and that I am doing that until I succeed with whatever investment that I put into it. That's what I would do. I would not be spread thin. All right. So that's just being transparent. All right, here we go. So I'm catching up on the questions. Here we are. So Lisa said, so if you get a personal loan, that'll stop the business loan that you're trying to get. It depends. It depends. Again, I would tap in with the team to talk that nuance again, because these consultations are very valuable, because it's looking at your exact situation. Everybody's situation is different. It takes a lot to understand all the nuances of every person's thing. So that's why these consultations are valuable. And when you get tapped in with the team, then they can look at your whole situation and say, okay, this is what you can do, or stop this, or add this, but the personal loan wouldn't necessarily have to stop the business loan that you're trying to get. But again, that would significantly change, if utilization is your only problem, that would significantly change your credit score and your credit position when it comes to getting funded. Right? Chosen One still here. So does it have to be an age business? Nope. No, it does not. Not for this 0% credit stacking strategy that I'm sharing with you, which is why I'm sharing it with you, because it's one of the most powerful. Right? If you have an age business, that you can get access to other things. Right? Age business always helps. So if you have an age business, 2 years plus at least, it's always going to help improve your funding chances, improve your approval amounts, things like that. Right? To the point where there are some lines of credit and things that you can access at with no documents at certain banks. It's like they're kind of few and far between. But you can access some lines of credit if your business is listed as being 2 years or older. All right. So that can be a strategy. And you can purchase what are called age corporations, right? Just for this no document strategy. But that you can purchase an age corporation that's 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, and then combine it with this personal credit profile that I'm talking about, and potentially get access not only to 0% credit, but you might get another 50K line of credit, a 25K line of credit, right, at a few different banks with no documents as well. So that can be a thing. But Chosen One, you do not need to have an age business in order to access this. This is why this is so powerful. Let me go through what you don't need again. An age business, you don't need a personal tax returns, personal financial statements. You don't need a business plan. You don't need to submit all this stuff, W-2s, which is why this is one of the most powerful things that you can do to leverage to get things going. How you liquidate the funds, Chosen One. So, like I said, we have connections to be able to liquidate the funds directly into cash. So that's the main way I would say, is to work with the company, right? Pay the fee. It's the cleanest way to do it. There are other methods that you can do to be able to turn it into cash, but it's a lot of legwork a lot of times. Sometimes it's a little iffy and a little risky. There are ways to do it though. If you want to take the time to do that and you're determined, you can do it. I suggest to keep everything above board and just work directly with the people that do it. And like I said, we can connect you with those resources as far as how you can get liquidated into cash so that it shows up as a purchase and not as a cash advance. And you can do what you need to do with it in those scenarios where you need to use cash. A lot of times you can use credit, like a credit card, a swipe. A lot of times you can use that straight out. Again, I've done a whole lot in my real estate deals and things like that. I've done a whole lot with paying contractors with credit, the materials and my holding costs and things like that. Just straight credit card swipes and things like that. And there are certain things that it helps to have liquid cash for. So you can use that in that way. A lot of times it's like you need to qualify with cash or you can show cash in your account and you could do that. All right. So here we go. So hope that was helpful. Right. So GT Empress says, I have a business credit score and hoping to raise that. Here's the other thing that's crazy. We didn't go over this before. I hope you guys are taking notes and getting value from this. Again, please share this with somebody. Hit the like button, share a gift if you got one. Here's what we didn't go over before. You don't even need a business credit score to access this 0% stacking strategy to get 100K, 120K, 150K, 80K. That's crazy. So if you've heard about business credit, a lot of people will say, okay, you're building up your business credit, your business experience, or your Paydex score, right? And they will say, okay, you need to get net 30 accounts. You need to get a Uline, and you need to go to Quill and go to Granger and build up your business credit score so that your business can access funding on its own, right? That is a real thing. However, a lot of people don't know that you do not even need a business credit score reporting to access 100K in business stacking, business credit stacking, 120K, 150K. You do not need that. You just need this personal credit profile that I literally just gave you the exact thing that you need that the banks are looking for. And you need the LLC structure on the other side. Once you have those two things, then you're good to go. I appreciate you guys asking these questions because this clears up a lot of what you do not need. Again, if you have the business credit score, that's great. It helps. However, this is another thing I'll share. I'm telling you guys, I paid so much money for this information. So I just hope that you take it seriously, right? That you're getting for free. But you can actually leverage your business credit score. The best way to do that is actually do a 0% credit funding stack. Why is that? We already talked about the comparables that you need on your credit profile, right? In order for banks to see what you have and then determine what they give you based on what you currently have. This is the same for business credit. But when you get these 0% credit products in this stack, according to the right strategy, and we're getting approvals of 10,000, 20,000, 25,000, 35,000, 40,000, right? 15,000. Those are what show up on your business credit report first. So if you don't have any business credit scores and you start off with having $10,000 cash credit lines, right? 15,000, 20,000, and that's what's showing up on your business credit report. Anything else that you do from there, that's going to be the baseline. So even when you go back to Uline and Quill and whatever else, they're going to be giving you higher limits for what they give you based on that business credit that you have on your profile already. So that's the best way to set yourself up to actually be able to get funding. They call it no PG funding, where there's no personal guarantee. It's like only tied to the business. The best way to do that is to set up this way because you're getting that strong foot to start off with, and then you can go and apply, in different ways. So that's a part of the strategy as well, right? So which business structure do you advise? So AFX Vault. When we say business structure, I'm not talking about the LLC structure. Like, do you have an LLC or do you have a corporation? Do you have an S corp? I'm not talking about that. The business structure is how does your business look on paper? All right, let me just zip through that. So let me zip through that just for those of you that are still tapped in here. All right, again, share this with somebody, please. Hit the like button, let the algorithm know that this is solid information. Like I said, I'm gonna share as much as I can while I can, right? Lisa, yeah, so I I am a spokesperson for the company. I work with the company. I fund clients myself, but as I have my daughter and my wife is, we got another one on the way. I don't have enough time to just meet with everybody directly. So I have some clients that I work with directly, right? But I also work with the company. It's the best solution that I have to be able to serve a lot of people. So that's why we're kind of working together as a team, if that's clear. All right. So all right, so here we go. So let's see. So Adonis, you say you're looking for funding. Came to the right place. All right. I hope you got that. Hope you got that information. So user 309, what about a closed credit card account? So that can count as one of your accounts on your profile. Like I said, you need at least 10 accounts. So that can count. Now, does it have a clean history? That will help. All right. But that's something that you can use to say, because it's really showing the bank, this is what I have managed. Right. This is what I have managed. And the battle zone, you said you'd be reaching out regarding the affiliate program. Let me know. Like I said, you can text me 240 240 642, or you can find me on social, or DM me, whatever the case. But yeah, make sure you tap in. It's a powerful thing, that affiliate program. All right, so here we go. So Chocolate said, I completed the contact form. Excellent. Credit counseling, that is the best move to start with. All right, it's the best move to start with. Okay, don't pay attention to how much time it's going to take. Just say, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to start getting the consultation around what do I need to do to improve things, and I'm going to push it forward. And then eventually, in the future, I'm going to be ready to access that 100K, 80K, 150K, whatever it is. All right, so get the ball rolling. So congrats to you for taking that step and getting the free call. You guys get a free consultation call, right? Just take advantage of these calls. Go to fundingmyfuture.net, or hit the link in my bio, or text me. All right, 240 240 642, and I'll send you the direct link. All right, so Chocolate says, my business was successful and thriving from 2013 until tragedy in 2017. Yeah, sorry about that. It happens, right? It happens. Life does life. So if your business is aged, right? And let's say in 2017, Chocolate Incentives, let's say in 2017 that did you stop paying your annual fee? Is your business still in good standing? So the question is, based on that business, like starting over versus keeping that one, how much is it going to cost you to reinstate it? Right? Let me know. How much is it going to cost you to reinstate it, for it to catch up all the years that it was off, right? And again, knowing this information now, we have to know, okay, what am I going to leverage it for? So if I do have age, am I using that age in a very specific way to be able to take advantage of like a business line of credit? Is that something I'm going for? Or would I be okay? Because again, you could start an LLC today and still get funded 100K, 120K with that 0% stacking strategy. All right. So would that be enough for me to make the moves that I need to make? And then you could say, well, I'll just start a funding dedicated LLC that has everything that banks want to see. I'll start that dedicated LLC, use that, and then I can fund my other entity if I want to. So that's another part of the strategy. All right. So that's what you want to consider when you consider, like, do I start all over? Because your business does need to be in good standing, right? Your business might have a business credit history on the business credit reports. So if there was anything wrong that happened, or banks that went sideways, or you would want to be mindful of that, because that's still kind of carrying on your business credit history, right? So that might be another reason to say, okay, well, I'm just going to start a new LLC and just get funded straight on that, leveraging my personal profile. So that's what you want to think about, right? Yeah, here we go. And Big Mac, thanks for the follow. Vulture 3, thanks for the follow. Mario Brothers, appreciate you. Thanks for the follow. So God told you to build a church. You fun for that? So I would say if you're going to use your I would say for nonprofits, there's some other avenues that I would want you to tackle. Right. But if you wanted to use like business revenue to be able to build up the church, then great. Right. But in general, we're doing like for profit, because again, once you get these funds, you need to be able to generate new income to be able to pay off what you get, right? And this is one of the strongest starting places that you can have, right? Because um, um, you're starting with so little red tape that you can get into it quickly. And again, we get 100K, 150K, or 120K at that 0% interest. But we need to know, like, what am I going to do to make new money? So you might want to check out the Gateway to Heaven. You might want to check out, depending on what you're doing, if it's just a church, like how much do you need for that? Do you need to just start small and just build up so people can pour into that? Or if you are you know if you need some of those funds, there might be, if you're doing like community work, you might look at a CDFI or a community development financial institution in your area, and there might be certain funds for the type of work that you're going to do. So you're going to do certain work in the community. You know what I mean? Like, that's something you can look at as well, right? But it doesn't hurt. It never hurts. It never hurts to have a strong personal credit and access to business credit in the right way. All right, because you can use that for pretty much, you can use it for pretty much anything. You just got to know, like, what is the ROI on this. So even if you are doing spiritual related stuff, you still got to have a plan for, like, how am I recouping this, right? Otherwise, just grassroots. You know what I mean? That would be my rough overview suggestion. All right. So Chocolate Incentive says nothing went wrong other than not paying to keep the LLC in good standing with the state. Yep. So you could catch it up. You can catch it up. And again, an age LLC is always going to be better. It's always going to be better. It's just a stronger position, right? However, like I just told you, we can start an LLC right now and still get access, according to that stacking strategy, still get access to 100,000, 120,000 if you have that personal credit profile set up, according to what I just told you. All right. Lisa K, you said, did I say I do funding? Let me know. Let me know what you mean by that, Lisa K. Let me know what you mean, because we've been talking about this funding blueprint as far as the business credit, but are you talking about like nonprofit? Let me know what you mean by that. All right. So Gateway to Heaven, you said you got strong credit. Yep. Yeah. So you can use that however you want. You just want to game plan that properly, right? To make sure that you can recoup from it. So that's what I would say. So user 309. So how do you check your being credit? How do you check your credit? So let me know if that's what you're asking. But there are different credit monitoring softwares and platforms that you can use. So obviously people know about Credit Karma and things like that. You can check your profile with that. A lot of people complain about the score that it produces, but as long as you know which is in your profile according to what we talked about, you can do that, right? Or how do you check your business credit? Oh, your business credit, I got you. So your business credit, you're going to use nav.com. And unfortunately, you're going to have to just check each bureau, and each thing has its own thing that it offers. So you're going to need to, a lot of times you're going to need to go to Experian. Whatever you don't get with Nav, the paid Nav subscription is going to give you access to a good amount of scores and a good idea of where you are. And sometimes you might need, for more detail, you can get the Business Experian, right? The paid account, the Business Experian, and that's going to give you everything that's shown up on your Business Experian, right? The Paydex, like the Dun & Bradstreet, sometimes they have a service there. Again, you can check Nav first. It fluctuates as far as what like reports on there on Nav. But if you get a nav.com account, that's a good way to start, to be able to get an overview, like what's reporting on my business credit right now. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go to each individual bureau and to probably get their service. It's not like the personal credit, where a lot of times you can get one service and it covers everything. Nav was doing that, and then some of the companies started to, retract and get things straight. So Lisa K, I thought you said you do funding. Yeah. So let's clear this up, Lisa K. So yes, we do funding, business funding, and business credit. Like I said, we help with everything across the board. What I'm teaching on tonight is this 0% stacking strategy was super powerful, but we help with everything across the board. So whatever funding that you consider funding, yes. Right. Typically what we don't do is, at least under this arena, and there's other people I can connect you with and stuff if this is you, but like nonprofits or like grants or things like that. That's not necessarily what we do. But if you're interested in that and you need that, I can connect you to some resources and whatnot. But hopefully that clears that up. So let me know, Lisa K. Does that clear that up? Because yes, we do funding. All right. So thank you guys for tapping in. Dove Hill, what's up? Good to see you again. All right. So let me know, you guys. So put your questions in the chat. I'm gonna go through this LOC structure. There's a few key points that I want you guys to understand. The reason I haven't gone over it a lot tonight is because this personal credit profile is one of the most important things that you can understand and learn about and know how to leverage. Again, know how to refer, know how to, tap in with a credit partner. Some of the most powerful stuff. All right. I'm doing good, Dove Hill. And my name is Kyle. I have two first names. So I'm Kyle Alexander. So my first name is Kyle. My last name is Alexander. Yep. So yeah, definitely appreciate the opportunity to be able to share. All right. So so let's talk about this LLC structure, you guys. This is the other part. Like I said, if you have that personal credit profile, Jared Butterfield, first time here. Welcome. We were talking about how you can access 100K in the next 30 days in business credit using the stacking strategy without having tax returns, without having business plan, without having business revenue to show, without having an age LLC, all that. According to this personal credit profile that we just shared and this LLC structure, when you combine those two, you can go straight for it. If you want to know about it, the fastest way, again, because I've been on here for almost 2 hours now, the fastest way to do it is to book a call with a team, fundingmyfuture.net, or hit the link in my bio, or you can text me at 240-240-642, and I'll send you the direct link, right? If something happens, like I said, if my daughter wakes up now, the live is over, right? So, but in the meantime, that's the fastest way. All right, but we're talking about the personal credit profile, and we're talking about this LLC structure. Like I said, I haven't gone over the LLC structure too much, because if you have that personal credit profile, then we can guide you to the LLC in a matter of days, right? That other stuff can be set up quickly, but that personal credit profile, once you understand how powerful that is, again, you can be leveraging that for referrals right now. $1,000 a client, $2,000 a client. Again, let me know if you put affiliate in the chat or text me if you want to know more about the affiliate opportunity to be able to do that. Right. Or you can be leveraging your credit partner, like we talked about. If your credit is not exactly where it needs to be right now, according to what I shared, then you can leverage that credit partner. We can get them funded and you guys can work together on that way. There's a lot of people that still move forward. You don't have to wait. You can still move forward. All right. Like I said, otherwise, you just need to push your profile forward and start building now. All right. And Jared, just for you, I'm gonna run through it like real quick. If you have any questions, put your questions in the chat. All right. And we're gonna go through the LC structure. And I think I'm gonna be done for the night. We'll see. Share this with somebody. This is a great time to share. Share this with somebody so that if somebody stumbles across this, and this is life-changing information, you guys, life-changing information, because when you realize how much this opens up and how much you don't have to have, a lot of the excuses go out of the door. Like, I don't have business revenue, or I just opened my business, or how am I gonna do that? There's a lot of things that you don't have to submit. Here we go, Jared. Your credit card limits. Number one, your limits need to be at least $10,000 to $15,000 or more. All your credit cards added up. Right? Your utilization needs to be below 30% minimum. The lower, the better. Your increase need to be 0 to 3 increase per bureau. and ideally as few as possible in the last 6 months. You need to have at least 7 to 10 accounts on your primary credit file. All right, primary accounts in your name, mortgages, auto loans, student loans, everything. You have at least 10, ideally. And your average age on your credit would be at least 4 to 5 years is the sweet spot. If you're above 2 years, you can get in the door. If you're below 2 years, we got to do some work. Again, there's some tricks and things we can work on to be able to deal with your age of your credit. If that's the only thing holding you back, and I can break that down if somebody puts age in the chat. I'll be glad to share that. But that's what you need. And then last is your no derogatories, no late payments, no collections, no charge-offs, no bankruptcy, right? And no late payments in the last 2 years. So if you have a late payment that's older than 2 years old, we can still squeeze you in. That is the personal credit profile. Literally, if you have that, you have access to the 100K, 120K, 150K, 80K, 50K, whatever it is in the next 30 days. Literally. My way or no way. Appreciate the follow. All right, so here we go. So let's talk briefly about this LLC structure. All right. So what is the business entity structure? It doesn't have to be LLC, sorry. What is the business entity structure that you need? Right. So here's what we're looking at. We want the banks to be able to look at us and feel like our business is going to be around for a while, feel like it's legitimate, feel like it's present. If we take care of those things, then we're good. Number one, write these down. Okay, I'm jumping straight through. You guys, please put your questions in the chat. Number one, your business needs to look like it's not a high-risk business. And you start by having the name to reflect a low-risk entity, right? So what are the high-risk entities? And they're going to judge you based on the name that you have, not just like what your NAICS or your NAICS code is or your official, business description. But if your name indicates something, they're going to put you in a certain bucket a lot of times, right? So what is that? You don't want anything in general that's like relating to real estate investment, high risk for the banks, anything related to trucking, a lot of things that they won't touch, like adult entertainment, gambling, a lot of times anything drug related, things like that. All right. So JB RV handyman. So that could be fine. That could be fine. That could be fine to use and leverage and push forward with. Right. I'll tell you the least friction that you can do. Something very boring and very generic, such as a keyword and enterprises. Boring. A keyword and group. Keyword solutions. All right. Keyword holdings sometimes. The most generic and straightforward thing. If you can gear your business in any way to the low friction business types, which are like anything having to do with consulting or marketing or online education, if you can gear what you do in any way towards those, then that's always going to be the lowest friction for the banks. Now, if you're in the middle somewhere where it's not necessarily automatically a high risk business, right, and you don't have the lowest, then you can potentially work with it. Like I said, for Jared, JB RV handyman, it's possible. All right, it's going to depend on the banks, but it just, again, the team will be able to tell you, hey, this is solid, or we're going to need to make some updates to this, or maybe we need to open an LLC that's dedicated for funding, or we're going to talk about that a little bit more. All right, what about partnering in an Uber, Queen Cam, transportation fleet? Are you talking about, are you able to leverage this business funding and credit to be able to do that? 100%. You can if you want to. If you got the game plan together, you totally could. Right? Again, either you are qualifying yourself for this funding according to the blueprint that I just shared, or you're leveraging a credit partner. And if you can benefit from having 100K, 120K, now there are some other products that you might explore. Again, the team can walk you through all of this, but there are some other products you might want to explore, as as far as like just getting auto loans for some of that stuff. And there's auto loans we can connect with. So that's a real possibility. But you can leverage all of it. They're all tools in the tool belt to be able to use. All right. So let me, hopefully that was helpful for you. All right. So here we go. So we talked about the non-risk, non-high risk business name. Really important to start with. And again, there's nothing wrong with starting a funding LLC that's dedicated to show up the way that the banks want to see it. And then we use that strength to be able to fund our other stuff, either fund our high risk business or fund any other business that we're doing. All right. Number two is the other important thing is your business address is actually really important. We want the business address to not look like a PO box. Banks don't like PO boxes. So if it smells or looks or quacks like a PO box, then that's going to be a problem. How do we check that? Two quick ways that you need to look for. Number one, you need to make sure that it's not a CMRA. A CMRA. All right. And that's Commercial Mail Receiving Agency. And you're going to check the USPS. It's called zip code lookup. Put your address in there that you're considering for your business. And let's look. There's going to be a line item on there that says CMRA. And if that says yes, you have a problem. If it says no, then you can probably continue forward. All right. Lisa K says, what would you need for the personal loan if you need to pay down utilization? All right. So here's the deal is the personal loan is going to be based on your personal income in general, right? Sometimes your DTI. And again, the team, we're able to connect you with different ones, right? So there's some that might be more strict, some that might be more lenient. So it's across the board. But in general, that's what you're going to need. And sometimes they're not going to ask for a lot of stuff. Sometimes they will ask for some tax returns or, some bank statements or things like that. Right. But it's a lot of times going to be based on like, do you have a W-2 and what's your income? What's your ability to pay? Now, here's the other thing, Lisa, is that when you have this strategy in place where we're looking at, okay, well, we can access 100K, on the tail end of this, if we make this move and we set ourselves up, and this was the only thing, utilization was the only thing holding us back, right? We don't have to get the best personal loan in order to make this move. So there are companies like subprime lenders and things like that that will give you a personal loan, even if your credit is not great, right? The interest rate is going to be high, but guess what? We don't necessarily care about the interest rate because we're only going to be in this position for 30 days, 45 days. So it hardly even has a chance to kick in before we have obtained our business credit and we've shifted the funds over to the business credit in one way or another. All right, so that opens things up considerably. All right, because now even if the personal loan is 30% interest, it's not even going to touch us because we're done. We're in and out in 30 days. So let me know if that makes sense. So again, the team can help you with all of that to say let's line up with what option is best for you. But that's in general what you need. Hopefully that's helpful, Lisa. All right. So this business address. So we talked about the CMRA. You need to check that USPS site. The other thing is you need to look it up on Google Street View. If it looks like a nice office building, you're good. If it is a Staples, literally, or a 7-Eleven or something, and that's your business address, then that's a problem. So they want solid business addresses. Physical address is the most ideal. All right, most ideal. So for that reason, I'll just give you the quick sauce on this, you guys. The most recent is a lot of people have been getting funded by using a home address. Right? Prime lending you pay every day, Lisa. It depends. It depends on the product. So subprime lenders is not always meaning that you have to pay every day. It just might be a high interest rate. Right? A lot of times it's like if you have a merchant cash advance or something like that, then those are things like that where you have a daily payment and things like that. It's going to depend on the product, right? Which again is according to your situation, we can recommend like, okay, this is going to be the best one to use. All right. Now there is one thing that I have to say real quick is, like I said, I said earlier, I do believe in abundance. I want everybody to move forward and be increased in their business and their financial freedom. And one thing that I implement to do that is I believe I want the next generation to be as equipped as possible to move things forward in their life. And for that reason, I have committed to donate and reinvest a portion of my um, profit towards a fund that's going to help young entrepreneurs to get into business, get into real estate, to get into investment, all sorts of